Mel Brooks is a man who just refuses to die and refuses to retire. And I mean that with the utmost respect because I love Mel Brooks. He's a comic genius, very talented, very funny, great actor, director, screenwriter, comedian. And it's weird how he is like 99 years old now and he doesn't have dementia. He can still remember a lot about his life. And a couple years ago, he even wrote an autobiography. And it's funny how his memory's still working good at that age. Because most old people his age, they don't remember much. But no disrespect to him or to anybody, whether your memory's intact or not, when you're almost 100 or not. I mean, it just surprises me that he's still in good shape. And it features interviews with him as this documentary, The Mel Brooks 99-Year-Old Man. I watched it last night and I really enjoyed it. Very entertaining, very interesting, very informative. It features interviews with Mel Brooks as well as his son Max and his other son, I think, and other people in his family, as well as some friends of his and some people who were either inspired to get into acting and comedy through growing up on his movies, and people who've also, a lot of them have also worked with him, including Adam Sandler's and Tracy Ullman, and I'm trying to think who else was in it. Conan O'Brien, and I'm not gonna remember the people who interviewed, but there were a lot of great interviews in this documentary. I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed to learn a lot about Mel Brooks that I didn't know, his early childhood, what it was like for him growing up in Brooklyn. He didn't suffer through much anti-Semitism because it was common at that time for that neighborhood to have a bunch of Jewish people, and talks about his World War II service, his coming home after the war, and getting involved in the entertainment industry, and his startup in comedy with his 2,000-year-old man character that made him popular. And it also talks about how he met his second wife, Anne Bancroft, and fell in love with her, and she's dead now, but they do show like footage of her from interviews she did before she died, and footage of her and him together when hanging in documentary footage and from other documentaries and whatnot. the I don't think it talks about his marriage to his first wife. I don't think she's ever even mentioned. If it was, I missed it. But it's kind of disrespectful for them not to mention her, even though I think Brooks, he wasn't happy in that marriage, so if he wasn't happy in that marriage, that's obvious why he doesn't talk about her. But in the part one, it also discusses the making of his movie. The producer is the one that was his first big movie, and then it goes into like Blazing Saddles, gives you a lot of details about the making of those two movies. Talks more about Blazing Saddles than the producers, and it talks about how he made Blazing Saddles be a social commentary on why racism is bad, and people were complaining like the N-word was in it too much, but he said, no, it's mocking racism, it's criticizing it, and people also, the censorship boards were also complaining about the humor being too dirty. I mean, compared to the humor they do in R-rated movies today, it's nowhere near as dirty as that, and they made him, he told the censorship people, you want me to take this out and take this out and take this out, I'll take it out. But he only took out this one joke where the sheriff and Lily are in the dark with the lights turned off and hear them talking when they're about to go at it. And the Lily's like, is it true the way they say you people are gifted? And you hear her like, clothes rip off, and she says, oh, it's too, and he says, I hate to disappoint you, but you're sucking on my elbow. And then after they talk about Blazing Saddles, they end part one, and then in part two, we talk about what do we talk about in part two? We talk about the makings of the movies Young Frankenstein, silent movie, High Anxiety, History of the World Part 1, To Be or Not to Be, Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights, which is my favorite Mel Brooks movie. That's the movie that actually introduced me to Mel Brooks. I love that movie as a little kid, still love it today. And Dracula, the Dracula parody, yeah, Dead and Loving It. I didn't care for that. That's the only Mel Brooks movie I've seen that I don't like. And History of the World Part 1, it's there's some parts in it I don't care for, the religion mocking parts, but the other parts of it I do like. The It talks about the 2001 Broadway musical adaptation of the producers, and they also did a movie based on that musical adaptation in 2005. I don't think they mentioned the movie adaptation of that Broadway musical in here, though. Um, it also talks about Life Stinks, a comedy he made that was in the 90s that was not a one of his parody movies. Instead, it was a comedy about a homeless guy that was had a message about helping those that are in poverty. I haven't seen that, but after hearing about it in this documentary, I do want to see it. Um, and it talks about how he's still working in this day and age. Like he's made a TV miniseries, History of the World Part 2. I haven't seen that yet, but I want to. And there's an upcoming Spaceball sequel, which I'm very excited about. He isn't directing that one, but he's done the screenplay and story on it, so he's producing it. So it's good that he's still kicking and able to work at his age. Um, it also talks about high anxiety and silent movie, two very underrated 70s classics you guys see. And The Elephant Man, which a lot of people don't know, Mel Brooks was a producer on that movie, which is another great classic you need to see. And and the part one also talked about his work on the TV show Get Smart. I think he was a writer on it, and producer. Yeah, I haven't seen that show, but I've seen the movie with Steve Carell, and I like the movie. And Brooks was a consultant on that. Um, this documentary also, two people who were interviewed in it, David Lynch and Rob Reiner. Yeah, they were interviewed in it when it was made last year, and they that was their last appearance on any kind of film, whether documentary or movie, just a movie before they passed away, which really sucked. Um, but it's good that they got to talk about it, especially Rob Reiner. He gets to talk about his dad, Carl Reiner's friendship with Brooks and how they worked in comedy together in Brooks's early years. And part two, it even talks about the death of Brooks's wife, Anne Bancroft, and how after his wife's death and after Carl Reiner's wife's death, they would hang out together as best buds. And there's even footage from an episode of Comedians in the Car where Jerry Seinfeld visits them at Rob Reiner's house, and they're just sitting in the living room with TV dinners, watching Wheel of Fortune, having a good time. Yeah, it's glad they still had a friend. They still had each other to hang out and have fun after their wives passed. And it Brooks said it really hurt him when Carl passed it, just like it did when his wife passed. And there's a nice little interview with him and his granddaughter. It's just a sweet, wholesome interview. And and I can't wait for Spaceballs Part 2. And oh no, this is a very good documentary, and I recommend it. I give it 2 thumbs up. All right, that's my review. If you like it, please hit the like button, subscribe for more great content. Thank you, and God bless. Bye.